Hello, Word on the Curb podcast, family and friends. Welcome in tonight. I am extremely happy to be here with you this evening. I'd like to apologize for being a bit behind schedule, but as it is, we had technical difficulties. That happens from time to time. Welcome. Our topic tonight is a little random, and I didn't post it until about 10 minutes ago because I was unsure of where I wanted to go with it as I already had something scheduled. But I decided to work with this, and it is about relationships and partnerships. And clearly, what we're going to talk about for a few minutes, and feel free to hop in the comments and add whatever you'd like to discuss. But here we go. Relationships are tough. And I always say, what doesn't apply here, let it fly. I am sharing experience, strength, and hope. And in that, if you have not had a successful long-term commitment and or marriage, you can sit in the bleachers. It's okay, because we just want to talk a little bit about some things we know just a little bit about. Not much, but a little bit. And I saw a young lady I admire and respect today on social media, and she had posted something that really caught my attention. She was talking about, partnerships. And before I get started, because I'm a little behind schedule, my name is Annette. I am your host here at Word on the Curb podcast. You can see us here on Facebook at Word on the Curb podcast, the Black Girls Locker Room, What Trent Really Makes. You can see us on YouTube. And on YouTube, we're at Word on the Curb Podcast Studios. So I'd like to shout out every small business owner tonight. And I think that's important. And hey, Winston, over there tapping in, I want to share with you how much I appreciate what you're doing with Downtown Trenton. Small businesses and small entrepreneurs make the difference. And when somebody steps out to share information, I'm always grateful for it. And telling the story about, what's really downtown and how great it is, that matters too. I am suffering from allergies today, so I may get a little nasally as well as some other things, but I'm going to keep going either way. So we're talking about partnerships, and we're talking about whether you have chosen a partnership or a project. That's a biggie. Because today, the woman that I was speaking about, remember to hydrate. That's right. Drink your water, eat your fruit, moisturize your feet, hands, and your face, and mind your business. That's important. So, welcome tonight. Partnerships are a project. What have you chosen? And so she was talking about, she asked a question, a legitimate question, about how people felt with respect to relationships, and should the man be responsible for all the bills? Should he pay for everything, regardless of what the income is? And does it matter if his income is less and hers is more? Great topic. Because I think when we look at relationships now, experience, strength, and hope, what doesn't apply, let it fly. But feel free to come in and make comments now and or later when you pick up this live video to watch it. And so let's talk about this. I think provider and helpmate have been confused. I think there's a great deal of confusion about the provider and the helpmate. And why do I say that? Because so often we use what we think is appropriate as opposed to what we actually know. There's a difference. Because see, listen, the truth doesn't give a damn about your opinion. And here's the truth as I know it. you may think differently. Here's the truth as I know it. In a partnership, first you have to determine whether you have a partnership or a project. So let's just chat about that for a second before we get lost. There is a difference. A lot of time we pick up our mates and our dates based on how much money they have, what kind of car they have, what we say they bring to the table. You see this shirt? It says original. What we think they bring to the table, and this is for men and women. This does not just apply to women. We pick up our mates and dates based on what we think they have. And what we fail to realize is, and I've shared this before, going into relationships, the first person you meet is the representative, baby. Mm-hmm. That's the person they want you to believe that they are. And it's natural. It's not crafted. It's not, manipulative. It's nothing. It's just the person they want you to believe that they are. They present and put their best foot forward. And I've seen posts where both sides of the fence have made mention of meeting somebody the first night and becoming intimately involved with them because we're adults. We know what we want. We're being intentional about it. Well, there's a difference in intentional dating and intentionally sexing. There's a big difference, but that's not the topic tonight. And so, when you choose your partners, who they are and what they are is the most important thing that matters in these relationships. And of course, you cannot know everybody all at once. But the problem is we don't take the time to get to know people before we are headfirst into relationships. And the other thing we do is we can see a man or a woman misbehaving in their relationship. And sometimes we participate in that misbehaving and we think they're going to be different with us. They are not. I don't care how tight you think it is, they are not. Person who misbehaves with one will misbehave with another. And you're not going to be any different in that equation. You can bank on that. And so, whether you choose a project or a partner depends on how you enter into the relationship and how you feel about what it is you want. Some people want projects. I'm not one of those people. I want a partner. And so a partner is somebody that you join with to build with. A project is somebody you join with to fix, because that's really what it boils down to. And a lot of people, men and women alike, think that they can love people into being better people. The bottom line is they're not going to be better. They're not going to do better. They're not going to act better. They're not going to be faithful. They're not going to do any of those things unless that's what they want to do. Okay? We can't love people into living right. I know we believe we can, and people do change. They really do. But we can't love people into living right. They're either going to live right or they're not. So when you pick up a project, you're picking up somebody, man or woman, because this applies to both of us. You're picking up somebody that requires a lot of work. And if they haven't already done some of that work for themselves, you're not going to be able to fix it. And then what typically happens is you have the big weddings, the beautiful dresses, the great tux, the great groomsmen, the great friends, before your family and friends in the church, masjid, outside, by the pool, by the lake, wherever you choose. And then less than a year into your marriage, you're having trouble. Sometimes less than 6 months, sometimes less than 90 days, because there's also a TikTok roaming, who the F did I marry? You married just who you looked at. You just ignored all the red flags. And so it's trending right now because people think it's a big deal, but y'all do it every day. Y'all marry people every day that you don't know. And you marry people every day and say things like, oh, he didn't know how to love her properly. She didn't know how to love him. She didn't get it right. She didn't understand him. Just wait. People are who they are. They are. And people can change. But the character of a person is who they are. It's not what they say, it's what they do. And we miss that so often. So we end up marrying projects thinking that we can fix them because we have a little bit more money. We can fix them because we're a little bit further ahead. We can fix them because we know what they need. We can fix them because we love them. We can fix them because we can fix them. You cannot. You marry a project, you're getting a project, and 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a lifelong project. So prepare yourself if that's what you want. Some men and women do want to be involved in relationships where they're fixing everything. I'm not one of those people. And neither are a lot of my friends, men and women. We're not those people. We are intentional. We do know what we want. Relationships are what we want. And in that relationship is a partnership. That's what we're looking for, a partnership, plain and simple. And in a partnership, we go into it to build together, to grow together. It's mutual, the mutual love, the mutual respect, the mutual commitment. Mutual. And we've agreed to be mutually exclusive with one another. No outside parties. So the question was on social media today, who's responsible for the bills? Let's kick it. Projects or partnerships? In a project, whoever took on the project is going to be responsible for the bills. Plain and simple. Across the board. Doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman. If you took on a project and not a partner, you're going to be responsible for the load. And if it's not the load financially, it will be emotionally and spiritually. But either way, if you took the project on, you're going to carry the load. If you took on a partnership, you're going to be working to build. It doesn't matter. Of course, you want your partner to make good money. Of course, you want to be in that together, equally yoked. But when you get with somebody and they're making 60 and you're making 180 and you decide to get married, baby, you've made a commitment. You've made a commitment. Maybe it's a project and not a partnership, but you made a commitment, right? So for me, a partnership simply means this. We're going to build together. I want you to be fully self-supporting. I want to be equally yoked with you spiritually, right? I didn't say religiously. I said spiritually. I want to be equally yoked with you. And I want a man who is capable of leading. I want a partner. And in that lead, what it means for me is that he can set the strategic plan and we mutually agree on how the goals and objectives in that plan are going to work. And I submit to the love of my partner. Because a lot of us have confused submission with control. And a lot of people take it just like that. Oh, she's going to submit to me, right? They have no idea what submission means. And in this day and age, it's a lot different than it was in the times BC, as some of you will understand. And even after he came back, submission is about submitting to the love of your partner. Partnerships. And in that partnership, he creates goals and a strategic plan. And together, we agree on that plan and those goals, and we build together. It doesn't matter how much he's making, because I've committed to the partnership. It doesn't matter how much I'm making. He will have a portion of savings that belongs to him. I'll have a portion that belongs to me, and then we'll have a portion that works together, that we contribute to together. And see, a lot of people don't understand that. And maybe it's not for you to understand, because unless you've had a relationship that has worked like that and been successful, you won't understand it. And a lot of people are running around talking, no, I'm not paying half of anything. When you're in a committed relationship, there'll be times when you'll pay 3/4 of it and be okay. When you're submitting to the love, when you're submitting to the lead, that strategic plan, those goals that you've mutually agreed on, and you build together. That's what a partnership does. In a project relationship, that means that your relationship, your partner, is a project. You carry the load. But you've already agreed to do that by getting into the relationship, because you're not going to get into the relationship and change everything automatically. But in a real partnership where you're submitting to the love and you're good with it, you're comfortable with it, you're not competing, you understand where you're going, and you understand because he said it, right? He has set it down, and you've agreed to it, and you've added to it, and you subtracted from it, and you guys came to the middle of the road on it. You submitted to the love and the plan, right? And you're going to do what it takes to build together. It doesn't matter who has how much, because those tables can flip. You can start out with the majority, whether you're a man or a woman, and end up with a lesser amount due to circumstances. This thing called life. Things happen, right? And so, as we move forward in our desire to partner, we have to know the difference between a partner in partnership and a partner in a project, whether your partner is a project. A lot of women I know them. Yeah, I know them. They think they have partners when in fact they have projects. And I also know a few women who think they have a partnership when in fact they have projects, and women who have projects but actually have a partnership but don't know how to work in them. You heard what I said. I said what I said, and don't know how to work in them. You get a good man. He's going to work every day. He's doing, this is for the ladies, he's doing everything he's supposed to be doing. He's not stepping out on you. He's managing, everything that he can, and you're meeting him halfway. And then you get out there with your girlfriends who are faking it until they make it. And some of them never make it, and they're unhappy, and they don't have a man, and they're running the streets, and they're in a club every night trying to figure it out. And they start telling you about what he should be doing. But they don't have anybody that's doing anything. And you fall for that and get out there in those streets and realize the grass is not green on the other side of the fence, but you've lost your partner that you thought was a project because somebody told you he wasn't doing enough. And you men do the same thing. You get a woman, she's doing everything she can. She's meeting you halfway. She's prepared to follow the lead. She understands what lead, mutual respect, mutual agreement, partnerships mean. And you hit the streets thinking that you're going to find something better out there. And sooner or later, she gets tired of you and she leaves. And then you realize that's the best thing that ever happened to you. Hey, wake up, everybody. There are good people out here, real good people, men and women alike. But you're chasing the wrong things. You're listening to the wrong people. Hey, if you're married, it's okay to have some single girlfriends. It is, if you're a female. But that shouldn't be your entire tribe. And if it is, you're going to get caught out there. I'm looking at somebody right now who thinks they're doing their thing when in fact they're falling into a pit of hell. And for you men, It's the same thing. Your buddy starts saying to you, oh man, she don't look the way she used to look. She's had 3 children. She might be working 2 jobs to meet you in that partnership halfway. She don't look the way she used to look, so you run out here trying to find something half your age, or you want to be in the club looking at half your age, or you're not going to pay bills anymore because she ain't doing her part. You know what? You get what your hand calls for, because the bottom line is this, and this is the last thing I'm going to say about it before I close out. If you have a good man or a good woman and you're having trouble, work on that. If there is something that you don't think you can manage, get help. But you better be very careful stepping out here in these streets with these barracudas, and they come from both sides of the fence. If you have a good partner, work it out. Get a coach. You know, why are you guys so scared of counseling? What is it about counseling that disturbs you? You don't want nobody in your business, but you're putting all your business in the street. Leave those vultures alone. Stick with somebody who genuinely loves you, provides for you, and at the end of the day will look out for you. Yep. Stop hanging with those people who don't have anything and who want to tell you about how to do your thing. If you find out how that works, I want you to come back on one of our podcasts and come in live and tell us how it works when people who don't have anything are telling you how to deal with your thing. You've missed the whole message. Do you have a project or do you have a partnership? And a good partnership is not about perfection. And a project relationship is not about partnership. You can figure out the difference, and if you can't, hit me up in the comments, or you can always email me at wordonthecurb29@gmail.com. I'll answer any questions that you have, and if I can't, I'll refer you to a coach or a therapist that can. Y'all better stop acting like you don't know any better. There are some things out here that you can't get rid of. Do you have, ask yourself and answer it honestly, do you have a partnership in your relationship or do you have a project? And then you can figure it out from there. Hey, have a good night. My name is Annette. I'm here at Word on the Curb. I want to thank you for joining me here this evening. And for those of you who are suffering from allergies and you have good remedies, hit me up. Thanks.